Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Raynday Gaming. My name is Raynday, and thanks everyone for tuning in again. Today I have a really special episode. It's called a Smite subscriber build. I actually took this build from somebody who I was having a conversation with in my comments section. So shout out to you who were consistently really showing your opinion there, and I appreciate that. And for that, you're getting a build that's on this video on the channel. So I got to say it turned out well. But I really want to discuss the conversation we had, which was very pertinent. I think it's very important for the community of Smite to discuss this conversation, and also to show you guys the gameplay of what NOX looks like with more of a, well, I guess let's just get into it. So the idea was that we were discussing, I made a combo tips video, and if you haven't seen that, please go check it out. It's very fun for NOX, and if you're a beginner, you haven't played NOX very often, I guess I'll take this speed. If you haven't played NOX very often, what that video does is gives you a very quick and helpful intro as to what. Ooh, got him. It gives you a very quick and helpful intro as to how to play NOX, to use your abilities like that to lock people in and really secure your damage. I have another one for on her, so go check that out if you're interested in just learning a little bit more about NOX in a humorous way. But the real important thing was that during that video, which wasn't really about my build, I had one of my subscribers comment and say, you really need to be using Chronos Pendant. And so, my thought was that, yes, I could be, oh, man. My thought was that, yes, I could use Chronos Pendant. I just feel that, my build was working. And, then it got into this kind of interesting place, which is what I really want to talk about. The initial part was that, hey, you need to use Chronos Pendant. I don't care how good you're doing. You need to use Chronos Pendant, and you'll do better. At that point, I was during work. I was a little busy. I didn't have a lot of time to, really go over all the points of why I wasn't using it, and why I didn't think I had to use it. But the fact of the matter is, I just basically said, I don't think I need to use it if, I don't need to use it. I feel like that I don't need to use it. Different strokes, different folks. But then all of a sudden, it came back really like, listen, you're just being a fool if you don't. That's how I took it. You're just being a fool that if you don't use it. And, I didn't really feel that way. That was kind of the thing for me. I really felt that I was doing okay. Oh, almost got that double damage there. I really felt that I was okay not... Ooh, really? Get that freeze in there. Come on. Really felt I was okay not using it. And so, one of the things I want to talk about is that thank you very much for bringing that up. And that's why I'm doing this build, because I want to show him what it really looks like for me to play NOX with Chronos Pendant. Because, I don't get Chronos Pendant first on NOX. I get, Spear of the Magus first, because I love the penetration that it provides early game. And I think that NOX can do a lot of damage early game with her 1 and 2 combo. And I want to maximize those stacks and that penetration. I think it works really well for her. However... Okay. Shiza. Man, I'm not doing well with that ultimate today. So I want to really talk about that and why I think that's really important. That conversation we had was important. Now, my subscriber, dude, I love you. Thank you so much for subscribing and being a part of it. I think it turned out well. But one of the things I want people to be wary of, in my channel specifically, because it's not necessarily the culture I'm creating, and not only my channel, but my, not necessarily just my channel, but just the fact that when you're out in the world in Smite, being careful about the fact that you know something about someone else's experience. That's for me one of the biggest things I like to combat. And by combat I just kind of mean ignore, because of the fact that it's so, there you go. It's for me, it's such a difficult thing to try and say that how someone feels or how someone experiences a game, from their perspective, wholeheartedly. Even though we can really understand that, hey, I really feel statistically this is going to improve. You know what I mean? I'm always a fan of saying, listen, if this build works for you, use it. If it doesn't work, check it out. And if that doesn't work... Oh, man. Oh, she took my damage? No way. So what I'm saying is, if it doesn't work for you, that's okay. If it does work for you, though, that's okay as well.
Let's go bed.
And so that's kind of what I wanted to really discuss, is that, is there just a hard and fast way? Like, are these builds that I'm making supposed to be used, and no matter what, they're going to be better than the ones you're using, or they're going to provide something that you're not getting? No, absolutely not, guys. And I want to make that extremely clear. Because one of my things is I just really love people expressing themselves, finding, new ways to challenge themselves and be effective. And, I'm going to talk a little bit about why I don't like Chronos Pendant there second. But I'm also going to talk about, hey, I think it does work in some scenarios. But for me, personally, I think it's a little bit better in a different scenario. Now, another thing that he buys is Book of Thoth third. I don't buy Book of Thoth third. The reason I don't buy that third is because it's a stacking item and a very high stacking item. And getting that third delays the amount of time you're able to spend with those stacks going on. I can see that Loki coming up here. No, he's not. So, if I get it second, that's a whole, basically, time of an item that I have to be building stacks, gaining that power, and using that power, versus building it third after Chronos Pendant, which, as you can see, took a while to get that. And now I'm just starting Book of Thoth. Like, I'm not going to have Book of Thoth ready for, basically the half of the match. Which is kind of crazy, and that's a hard time to really start trying to bye. That's a really bad time to try and start building stacks. Now, Nox, secondly, I will say, is not the best stacking god. Why? Because Nox is I wonder if Robon's gonna try. So, that was so bad by him. Oh my god. So, Nox, I feel, has these big cooldowns, right? 6.5 seconds, 9.7 seconds for her big damage, 9.7 seconds for her dash. So, you look at the fact that you've got to access Book of Thoth. And I've done it before. It's not like I haven't tried it. These are my experiences. I've done Book of Thoth, and it's been very hard for me to build stacks because you have to build it with this number 2. If you're not building it with the number 2, what's happening is that you're going ahead and ooh. Let's see who's coming in. So if you're not building it with your number 2, if you're not hitting them with your number 2, you can't do damage. Your number 1 doesn't do damage to them, right? Oh, your number 1 doesn't do damage to minions, so you can't build stacks that way. Oh, I tried to take it. Oh, gosh. Wow. I tried to dash and take it for him. I couldn't do it, though. But anyways, that number 2 is the only thing that's going to be taking the minion damage. So, your number 1 just flies right through him. And it's very hard. You have to wait 2 seconds. It's very hard for you to get those minions. Most people at the stage that you're going to be buying Book of Thoth, which is your third item, you're going to be clearing the minions so fast, even hunters. So you're not going to be getting the priority of those minions, unlike someone like an Isis, a Nuwa, even an on her like a Neve, right? And I'm glad we forced that. But now let me tell you what I do like. Let me tell you what I do like about Chronos Pendant on Nox, because my opinion was not that. My opinion was not that Chronos Pendant is not a good item on Nox. I actually do like it on Nox. However, the order he wants to use it, I find is challenging. Now, does that mean that he was wrong, I was right, he was wrong? No, not at all. I just think that it means there's always 2 sides to every story. And I think that for me, I had good reasons not to want to use it. Now, in his build, he goes into Spear now. I'm glad I'm getting Spear. I'm glad he has the right items in here for me. But it's just for me a little bit later. I would get Chronos Pendant probably around my 3rd item, to be honest. Maybe my 3rd or 4th item. And it would be very valuable because I think it does help with Nox. So, officially I do believe that, and I do thank him for pointing that out, and I didn't have that kind of in my main rotation with Nox. But I do just want to say, man, just be careful how you speak to people, you talk to people, you put opinions on people, because, everyone's doing their best, everyone's doing their own experience. And I just think, like, I'm getting a little philosophical here, but I just really think it's important to honor somebody who says, hey, you know, I really feel that I play better this way. I don't know why. I think I get a little bit of damage more. I feel more powerful. I feel like I have more damage. I feel more confident. And maybe it's negligible, but maybe it's 130 damage. Maybe that 130 damage is a basic attack that makes him feel comfortable because of the fact that, you know, all of a sudden... Ooh, dead. So basically, what if that basic attack is something that makes him feel comfortable, and not only that, it makes his teammates feel comfortable about continuing, right? About continuing on to continuing the fight. You know, oftentimes someone leaves and they get out of the fight with maybe one basic attack's worth of health. I mean, what if that is the difference? And late game, when you add modifiers like Rod of Tahuti to items, it definitely equals more power on your abilities than something like 130, you know, actual damage. It's going to be closer to 200 most likely. And what you're going to see, and I mean, that's just, you know, I'd have to do some actual math, which I will never and do not want to do. But I'm just knowing that, you know, there's a little bit more power that comes off on that initial hit, and that can mean the difference between your team saying, yeah, we can get him, or, oh man, he just escaped and I don't want to commit too hard because I might die. So, you know, maybe there's value in that depending on your play style. You know, maybe Nox in your team is not the pusher, which I don't think she should be. There's probably going to be other mages that push a little bit better, a little bit faster than Nox. And so if she's not your pusher, then maybe she doesn't need to worry about having, you know, Chronos Pendant up as much as you might have thought, because of the fact that, you know, she's not worrying about the minions and she just needs her abilities for the fight. Now, this Agni is someone that...
Silence.
I really want to get. He's hiding behind the wall. That's smart. Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, I should have thrown it on this guy. Damn it. So, you know, I wanted to just speak about that because that was important to me. I wanted to get that out. You know, and just like clear everything up, like, you know, hey man, I'm not trying to get in any fights with anybody on my channel. Oh shit. I'm not trying to get in any fights with anybody. I really encourage everyone to have a good thing, but I do want to set the precedent that, hey, if someone says, hey, I really like this works for me, someone doesn't just say, no, you're wrong. Someone says, oh, well, you know what, hey, in my opinion, I really like this because of these reasons. And then, you know, try and see other people. Oh, what a silence. That was such a good silence. Oh my gosh. Oh man, are you guys really trying to...
Silence.
Unstoppable.
I didn't know they were trying to die like that. Now, it's hilarious how I'm talking about this build not being my preference and I'm whooping ass, which is so funny. Oh, Agni. Oh, little Agni. You fool. See, I mean, even if you're like, it's just so hard. You don't have great minion stuff going on, unfortunately. And Ravon seems to get destroyed by Nox. Oh man. Let's see here. Let's see here. Awesome. Wow, this is like this is where it all goes sour for them. I just want step in.
Silence. On my way.
Yeah, so anyways, that's it. That's kind of the point, you know. And for me, you know, in the real world, some advice anybody wants on. If you want to give somebody feedback, here's a great way to do it. First off, ask, are they open to feedback? That gives you a good test to see if they are or not. I mean, if you want to, I always talk to my parents and my friends sometimes. I see them doing stuff, I'm like, hey man, this is not to your best, you know, interest. And so what I'll say is that, hey man, listen, are you open to some feedback? They'll say yes or no.
Take a seat.
Force them beads. And they'll say sometimes yes, and then sometimes they'll actually say no, and then the conversation stops there. Why? Because you know that whatever you say, they're not open to it. So you're wasting your breath. You're wasting your breath. It doesn't matter. So why would you do that? You know, why would you keep talking? I mean, then that's like an ego thing. Like, you're trying to say that to help them, but if they're not open to it, it's not going to help them. So then you don't have to say anything. You don't have to try and prove your point. You know, people don't win by beating each other over the head with their arguments. People win by, like, listening and communicating and, like, you know, figuring out a way where everyone can fit together on that. So, anyways, what I'm basically trying to say is that this is a kind of a sensitive subject. People doing things their way, and then kind of having someone say, "Hey, that's not the way that I think you should do it, or I think it's best." You know, and you got to trust that people have their experience, people have their moment, and then you also have to, I think, understand that you may be seeing something that they don't want or aren't ready to see in themselves. So, you know, don't worry about them, because they may never change. Worry about how you handle that situation. So for my man who's looking at me and say, I'm like, you know what, screw you. The build that freaking doesn't work, right? And I'll never use it. Don't let that be about me, about you, man. Don't let that be about, oh man, like I couldn't get my point right. Like, you know, I was kind of being a jerk. That's why, you know, now he banned me from the channel, yada yada. Like, whatever. That's about me. If I'm not willing to like try someone who's like a fan, or like someone who's like, you know, part of my channel's like build that they're suggesting from me, if I'm not willing to do that, you know, then screw it, man. I mean, that's so not. Let me do this.
Shut down.
Ooh, bye. You know, that's really not like, that's not your fault. You know, it's if I'm not willing to do it. And so you have to understand that no matter what you're trying to do, your intentions, someone has to be open to receive of what you're trying to give to them. Thirdly, well, man, let me just handle these minions, which is like an insane amount of minions happening.
Unstoppable.
Yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to say. Haha, immortal. I don't know why he didn't say it. That was not cool. So anyways, you know, I think it serves everyone when everyone listens to each other, because guess what? I'm actually having a great game. I'm having a great time. I really like this build. I've got full stacks of Book of Thoth. You know, maybe this works better than I thought it did, to be honest. You know, and that's kind of the great thing when you take a chance and listen to someone else. And I'd suggest that vice versa, man. If you think that you know something and you are, you know, waiting to hear about me, or maybe waiting to see, hey, you know, maybe he's not right, but I haven't tried that really in my experience. Maybe, you know, maybe what... No effing way. They all tried to kill me. That's hilarious. It doesn't really matter, but it does peeve me a little bit. You know, but that's the thing I want to say, guys. You know, it's just like, just understand, I see I got some value from this. Also, you hopefully can get some value from checking out maybe a different way and opening your horizons about how you might be able to play this build. You know, I'm not saying that you're not right mathematically or that you're not right, but maybe some other way that you haven't played or experimented with, because you think this is the way to go for sure, might actually suit you better. Who knows, man? You just got to give it a try and be open to other people. We're all good people trying to give other people good suggestions, and that's really what it is. So it's not about ego for me, or on the channel or on the comments. So thank you guys for watching. I think it's really important we had this conversation, and you guys kind of know where I'm at in terms of comments like that. And I do just want to thank everyone again for commenting, and I always try to reply as soon as possible and to the best of my ability to your questions. So feel free to ask me anything if you want to engage as well. Also, feel free to put your subscriber build for any god that you would like me to play in this comment section. That way we can understand which gods are in favor for you guys and which gods you would like to see me play, and what builds you guys have that you'd like to have me try out. I always like this. This series has been really, really cool for me because I get to see the way other people are playing, see what's working for them, and I get to kind of expand my image and idea of what works in Smite and what works for this god broader than what I had originally intended. And that's valuable. That's value. That's what people want to see. That's what people want to experience. And if I'm doing that for you guys, I can just imagine how much fun it is for you guys to do that to me and to have your video featured, your build featured, and really appreciate that. So shout out to my man Keythking, who was in the comment section. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you subscribing and staying with the convo. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think and your thoughts down below. It seemed to work pretty well for me, but then again, I am kind of good at NOX, but I definitely did like the way and the power that it gave me towards the end of the game, and I do appreciate you throwing this out there, man, and I will definitely keep experimenting with this because this may be the new way that I go. All right, guys, take care. As always, my name's Raynday. Like, share, comment, and subscribe if you feel like it and enjoy the content and want to stay tuned to what I'm doing. As always, never give up, never stop gaming, and I'll see you next time.